화강암으로 가득한 바위산을 차가 오를 수 있도록 마이크가 길을 닦았다고 합니다. 험준한 산길을 10여 분쯤 오르자 산 정상에 도착했습니다. 해발 2200m가 넘는 이곳, 길게 뻗은 침엽수림 사이로 돌로 멋스럽게 지은 아담한 집. 원래 너른 바위 위에 있었던 듯 이질감이 없는 집이네요.
The rocks are all from the property. They're actually probably within 100 meters radius from here.
건축재를 공짜로 얻을 수 있는 장점 말고도 돌로 지은 이유가 있을까요?
I actually was going to build it out of wood, and about 3 weeks before I started, I realized I'm going to have to do a lot of maintenance, all this stuff. So I realized I got a bunch of rock up here that survives, obviously. Yeah, after I calculated when I was done, I was like, that's about 170,000 ton, which I did it all by hand.
줍고 나르고 쌓기까지 돌 하나를 3번씩 들어서 지은 이 집은 외형도 독특하게 오각형 모양입니다.
The pentagon came to the idea of, the whole, each point of your body, a star.
집안에도 마룻바닥의 오각형과 자신의 생일날을 뜻하는 오후 3시 2분에 별 그림자가 일치하도록 설계했는데요. 이는 자신의 삶이 시작된 날을 기념하기 위해서라고 합니다. 이렇게 별을 품은 돌집은 마이크의 친구들과 아들을 늘 지지하는 부모님까지 일손을 보태며 지어나갔습니다. 33세 시작된 집짓기는 그가 40이 돼서야 완공이 되었습니다.
Probably my late 20s when I was sick of the big house in town lifestyle. This is getting too time consuming, a lot of money spent on stuff I didn't get to enjoy. And I realized I want to be simple. I want to backpedal a little bit, get back to just the basics.
마이크처럼 요즘 많은 사람들이 단순하게 사는 법을 고민한다죠. 초심으로 돌아가 지은 돌집의 내부는 어떨지 궁금한데요. 내부는 목재를 사용했네요. 차가운 느낌을 주는 돌집에 나무를 사용해 따뜻한 느낌을 더했습니다.
Upstairs, we have a little loft, which is the sleeping quarters. That was actually the first thing I got organized so I could actually stay here.
오각형으로 낸 창문에도 스테인드 글라스로 별을 그려 넣었네요.
Wood I milled here. This is a black walnut tree that I decided to build into a couch. It's pretty comfortable. This table was an oak tree that kind of grew in together and then grew apart again. There's a bit of a rotted spot here, so I put some marble there for a hot plate. And this was a gift from, I forget who gave me this. It might have been my sister. This is a petrified piece of wood. And then this one's a petrified mammoth bone. So they're both very old, special.
자수정은 돌집을 짓는다는 소식을 들은 친구가 보내준 거라고 합니다. 통창을 낸 남쪽 테라스는 볕이 잘 드는 앞마당인 셈이죠.
I have 3 pillars here that help support the deck. One is over here, which is my water source that goes into the soaking tubs. This one is my crystal, light one. Smokestack as well, my fire. And then this one is my cooking top. You can kind of sit out here and barbecue, and you got your little hot plate here. The hot tub here, it's an old dairy stainless steel tank.
반려견 미스틱은 늘 마이크와 함께 하는데요. 마이크가 어딜 갈지 아는 듯 미스틱은 벌써 앞서갔습니다. 돌집에서 멀지 않은 곳에 계곡이 있네요. 물소리만 들어도 시원해지는 기분입니다.
This is my resting spot right here. Come and check it out.
98,000평의 땅을 샀을 당시 눈으로 덮여 있어서 이런 풍경이 있는지 몰랐다고 합니다.
So one thing, when I was building the cabin, this was my shower. You know, every day after hard work, mixing cement, I'd come running over here, jump in.
쌓였던 눈이 녹아 흐르는 맑은 물. 15년 동안 이곳에서 물을 길어다 마셨다고 합니다.
Another month, 2 months, and then winter will come again. So lots of days here now.
Heaven is a place on earth. That's what everybody always.
그의 말대로 대문만 열고 나오면 이렇게 멋진 자연이 펼쳐지니 이보다 더 좋은 휴식처가 있을까요?
Always looking high and low, waiting for the magic, always knowing one day you'd show me.
별을 품은 돌집은 공간 효율을 높이기 위해 부엌은 빌트인으로 만들었습니다. 직접 만든 목재와 친구가 보내준 대리석으로 만든 싱크대, 그리고 동으로 만든 오븐까지 작지만 어떤 요리든 가능한 부엌입니다. 점심을 준비하는 마이크. 그런데 밥을 하네요. 우리 눈엔 생경하지만 그는 자주 쌀밥을 먹는답니다.
Where do you get the water from?
This is from the well now, and it's actually coming from a tank that's underneath the cabin. It's kind of nice having water just come out of the pipe.
Those bowls are very unique. Did you hand make? Did you make those?
My mom and dad did actually. Made me plates and bowls and little drinking cups. They're more for being with nature.
고등학교 졸업 후 쌀 한 자루 지고 백패킹을 다녔다고 하는데요. 그때 갈고 닦은 실력은 밥뿐 아니라 또 있답니다.
Sometimes I don't have this stuff. I mean, chopsticks works great too, but whittling stuff here and there. And this is actually very old. This is probably 25 years old. I made this in Alaska. Backpacking through Alaska.
그 사이 밥이 다 됐습니다. 쌀밥에 무슨 반찬으로 먹나 했더니 청어 통조림과 샐러드를 조금 얹어 덮밥을 만들었네요.
Food is done. Watch the clouds come in.
구름 한 조각, 눈으로 음미하니 백패킹이 따로 없을 것 같은데요. 그래서 이곳에다 집을 지은 걸까요?
I grew up snowboarding here, and so I learned how to snowboard right across the valley here. And so it's a little bit of a homestead feeling. There's some old stories of Donner Summit.
설원 위의 서커스라 불리는 스노보드가 대중화되기 전인 84년, 마이크는 스노보드를 처음 탔습니다. 스노보드의 매력에 빠진 13살의 마이크는 80년대 후반 프로 선수로 데뷔하며 세계대회 정상에 섰습니다.
I'm gonna get rid of the 4,000 square foot house in Utah. I spent 10 years in Utah. I had to clean it. I had to pay high bills for heating. All this stuff that I'm like, am I really using it? I'm more just trying to keep up with it.
큰 집을 갖고 보니 깨달음을 얻었던 것이죠. 그렇게 시작된 오프그리드 생활. 아낌없이 내어주는 자연에 감사함을 느끼며 사는 중입니다.
This is my new well, which is a new addition to the property. For the 15 years I used the creek, I had to go dig a hole in the snow, get to the water.
3년 전 우물을 판 덕분에 계곡까지 가는 수고를 덜었습니다. 만들기가 쉽지 않았다는 지하실. 겨울을 준비하는 공간이자 온수 욕조를 데우는 아궁이가 있습니다.
This is the hot tub fire. Just starting it off. It's morning now, so this will probably be ready midday to jump in, and probably by evening it'll actually be perfect, like 104 Fahrenheit degrees.
아궁이 반대쪽에는 또 다른 공간이 있는데요.
So yeah, this is my water tank.
What are you doing right now?
So this is my water source for which comes out of the sink, and this will be my winter storage too. So that under here it doesn't freeze at all. This is I've had it tested, and it's actually a pH 7 balance water. That's a very good. That's what people go pay money for at the health food store. So it's actually a really nice water.
지하 190m까지 깊게 판 우물물을 끌어올리는 데 필요한 전기는 여기 배터리에 저장된 태양 에너지가 사용됩니다.
I'll show you one other thing upstairs.
Upstairs?
Yeah.
뭘 보여줄지 궁금한데요.
So imagine in the winter with this whole house buried, getting under where we just were, there's this way. So this is my way of getting in the winter time.
바닥에 비밀 통로가 있었네요. 하루 만에 눈이 1m 넘게 오는 곳이니 거대한 눈 폭풍을 버텨내려면 단단한 돌로 짓길 정말 잘했네요. 돌집을 짓기 시작한 해부터 올해로 18번째 여름을 맞았습니다. 담요처럼 덮였던 눈이 완전히 녹고 나면 할 일이 많아집니다. 이곳에 살려면 못하는 게 없어야겠는데요. 오래전 트랙터를 빌려 타본 경험이 전부라는 마이크. 덕분에 오프그리드 생활에 도움이 됐다고 하네요. 눈사태에 쓰러진 나무들을 치우고 겨울에 쓸 장작도 준비합니다. 또 흙을 옮겨야 한다는데요.
I'm kind of just trying to level this area flat so when you pull up, your car's level. Like all this stuff helps a lot energy-wise. Like just you don't bounce around as much when you have something smooth. For years, it would take me 20 minutes to drive a car up here because I had to be in low gear, and it's way quicker to walk.
길 평탄화 작업을 할 수 있는 기간은 여름 3개월. 그러니 부지런히 움직여야 합니다.
Whew, oh, that was a hot one. Oh, freshen up here. All right.
땀 흘린 뒤의 온수욕. 무슨 설명이 따로 필요할까요? 온수욕조에 몸을 담그면 피로가 싹 풀린다는 마이크. 쌀밥에 온수 목욕에 마이크 미국 사람 맞죠?
This is a pretty I'm inspired by my travels. Japan. Been in a lot of hot saunas and hot springs, so I got inspired by the soaking tub.
온수욕조는 스노우보드 대회가 열렸던 일본을 여러 차례 방문한 경험에서 탄생됐습니다. 욕조 주변을 둘러싼 독특한 모양의 작은 수로는 마이크의 상상력에서 나왔습니다. 이번에는 냉탕, 온탕과 냉탕을 오가며 목욕 제대로 하네요. 보기만 해도 근심 걱정까지 싹 날아갈 것 같은데 소감이 어때요?
Feel amazing. It's so nice to jump into this after a hard day work.
그 기분 저도 한번 느껴보고 싶네요. 오븐을 쓰려고 화로에 불을 지폈습니다.
Let's see here. 300 degrees.
저녁 메뉴는 피자.
Okay.
화로와 오븐의 위치는 심사숙고 끝에 이 자리에 놓게 된 것이라고 합니다.
That I've learned in being in anyone's house, the kitchen is usually the center of attention. Like that's a social space. And so anything I build, I usually try to integrate the fire, the kitchen within the living room. So you want to maximize the fire efficiency. So my oven was my biggest goal. Check out the pizza, I think it's done. Woo! Ah, looking good. Okay.
냉동 피자가 화덕 피자처럼 잘 구워졌네요.
Nice.
맛있는 음식에 좋아하는 음악까지 금상첨화네요.
Some music, some pizza, some fine wine. Oh, it's a good end to a good day.
냄새를 맡으며 미스틱이 마이크 주변을 서성이는데요. 기대를 접은 모양입니다.
That's the one thing I don't do is feed her at dinner. She kind of knows it. No.
별을 품은 돌집에도 밤이 깊어갑니다.
I think I'm gonna call it a night. Okay. Cozied up here in bed. Oh, it's nice and warm up here. I think I'll check out the stars a little bit before I go to bed. Oh, they're glowing tonight. Oh, what a beautiful sight.
와, 별이 밤하늘을 가득 메웠다고 할 정도네요.
Just grateful for the day. You know, the beautiful night that's happening. A lot of people don't get to see the stars like this. And I'm definitely grateful for that. So I'm gonna just let that thought put me to sleep. Saying goodnight to the stars. Have a good night.
별을 품은 돌집도 하나의 별처럼 빛나는 밤입니다. 아름답던 별밤이 물러가고 새날이 밝았습니다. 마이크의 아침은 차를 끓이는 일로 시작됩니다. 차 한 잔의 여유가 몸과 마음을 정화시켜주듯 돌집에서 보내는 시간도 그러합니다.
You know, nature's always been my place of peace. You know, my place of feeling comfortable, being at home, especially in the snow. I love the snowstorms. A lot of snow or not, like I love it all. And so being in nature just makes me feel more at home. Hey, what you doing? Come here.
인생의 대부분을 설원에서 보냈으니 자연이 곧 그의 집일 테죠. 그런데 마이크는 어떻게 눈을 사랑하며 살게 됐을까요?
a struggle in my younger years. When I was about 7 to 12 or 13, I was diagnosed with epilepsy. So that's, you have a lot of seizures. It's a very, very mysterious adventure. That experience for me, was hard, but it gave me something also at the same time by knowing life's not perfect, being different is okay, which I took all that and put it into snowboarding. And somehow in the mix of finding snowboarding, I feel like I found myself. And maybe that healed me from the epilepsy. I have no idea, but I overcame it around 13, 14.
마이크에게 설사는 치유의 숲이었습니다. 오늘도 휴식처를 찾나 봅니다. 울창하게 뻗은 침엽수림 사이로 펼쳐지는 드넓은 초원. 걸어서 이런 자연을 마주한다는 기쁨도 얻었습니다. 7월 중순인데도 아직 잔솔이 남았습니다.
There's snow.
Yeah, it's been a big winter. It's melting slow, but I mean, it's almost 100 degrees out, and it's, this is a lot of snow still.
흰 눈 덮인 산이라는 뜻의 시에라 네바다 산맥. 괜히 붙여진 이름이 아니네요. 와, 제가 지금 그림 엽서를 보는 건 아니겠죠? 시에라 네바다 산맥에는 빙하가 만들어 놓은 협곡과 호수가 많은데요. 눈 녹은 물이 흘러든 호수는 바닥이 보일 만큼 투명합니다. 대자연이 만든 장엄한 풍경에 녹아들게 하네요.
This is Lola Montez Lake. It's a nice, clear, about 30 meters deep.
The water's not too cold?
I mean, it's cold, but that's what I got. It's not that cold, though. I don't think it's cold.
Here is the lock, here is the key. Open it up, set yourself free. Free, free, free. 'Cause I'm free, free, free. And all I see is the open road in front of me. Yeah, I'm free.
Oh, amazing. Oh, beautiful.
I want to be the happiest.
천국이 있다면 이곳이 아닐까요?
Mystic must enjoy swimming too.
She likes water. My other dog swam in the water too, but not as much.
Oh, does this lake freeze over in the wintertime?
Yeah, you can snowmobile it. Snowmobile on over the whole thing. There's actually up there is where I snowboard.
믿기지 않겠지만 몇 달 후면 이 산과 호수가 눈으로 뒤덮인답니다.
But it's pretty fun. There's different like cliffs you can jump and places to build jumps. It looks obviously very different. It doesn't even look like walkable right now.
세계 최대 스키 리조트 지역답게 눈폭풍이 몰아닥치고 나면 스키어들로 붐비는 곳입니다. 스노보드에 대한 열정만큼이나 또 다른 열정의 대상이 있습니다. 바로 사진인데요. 마이크는 사진 작가로도 활동 중입니다.
I made money for about 15 years off of being a snowboard photographer because I always pitched myself as a snowboarder, but everybody would say, "Oh, we already used up our budget." So it's like, well, why don't you pay me as a photographer? Use that budget. I'm going to ride with your riders anyway. So it's like I was able to get unique angles that other photographers couldn't because I was able to get on the cliff with them and.
아무래도 스노우보더인 그가 누구보다 스노보드의 매력을 잘 담아낼 수 있겠죠. 스노보딩의 멋진 장면을 담기 위해 헬기에서 뛰어내리는 것도 서슴지 않았습니다. 그렇게 자신의 모습을 담은 초상사진은 2015년 사진집으로도 출간됐습니다. 전기톱을 챙겨서 집을 나서는데요. 어딜 가려는 걸까요?
I'm gonna head down to my shop, get a little organized down there for the day, and yeah, you wanna check it out?
돌집에서 20분 거리에 있는 트럭키. 여기서 20분을 더 가면 콜팩스라는 곳에 마이크의 작업장이 있습니다. 어릴 적 나무집을 지으면서 처음 목공을 하게 됐다는데요. 줄자도 도안도 없이 쓱쓱 그려나가는 마이크. 망설임 없이 나무를 툭툭 잘라내더니 뚝딱 하고 의자가 나왔습니다.
This is a new chair for the cabin. There's not much to it, you know. It's pretty quick, and look at that. You can take it with you if you ever need firewood. Well,
Did you learn how to do this, or?
just now. I mean, as you probably saw, I didn't use a tape measure. I just kind of use my senses to kind of guide like what feels like the right size. I might have failed the first time if it was my very first time, but I've done this before. But yeah, it's kind of like working with wood, just see how it goes.
작업장 한쪽에 공사가 진행 중인 타이니 하우스가 있네요.
What is this trailer?
It's a trailer. I helped a teenager build his first tiny house. So this is what he wanted to build, and I kind of helped him along the way. And
말하자면 마이크가 멘토인 거죠. 곧 고등학교를 졸업한다는 아이. 마이크는 세상 밖으로 나올 아이를 위해 응원을 하는 중입니다. 마이크의 차가 돌집으로 안 가고 숲에 멈춰 섰습니다. 그런데 이곳 정체가 뭘까요?
yeah, so this whole area I call Area 2 for 1. Just as it's a secret, private, you know, special place for me.
이 특별한 장소에는 마이크의 체어리프트가 있습니다.
I mean, it's pieces from another resort from the 60s, but I kind of pieced it together different. And actually, the hardest part out of all this was to draw a straight line up the mountain in midair, to know where to put the towers, how high, and that was challenging.
체어리프트는 돌집을 짓고 나서 만들었다는데요. 겨울이면 슬로프로 변하는 곳에 살다 보니 전용 리프트를 갖고 싶다는 생각이 들었답니다.
All right, here we go. But it's an old motor too. It takes a little bit of uniqueness to get it started because it's an old military motor from the 60s. But it's been good. It's lasted me 10 years.
개인 리프트라니 저라면 엄두도 안 날 텐데 도전 정신이 스노보더답습니다. 헬기로 세우는 리프트 기둥을 트랙터와 트럭으로 세우고 친구들의 도움을 얻어 8개월 만에 공사를 마칠 수 있었습니다.
There goes a chair! Look at that!
과연 움직일까? 반신반의했던 체어리프트는 성공적이었죠. 처음 탔을 땐 부자가 된 기분이었답니다.
Overall, probably cost about $12,000, $15,000 to do it. And I have my own season pass. It's a lifetime.
돌집 아래 트럭 한 대가 보입니다. 보통의 트럭이 아니었네요. 트랜스포머처럼 차가 변신한다는데요.
You got an outdoor deck. It's a nice setup, especially when you're camped on a river. You can park right there on the beach.
이 트럭은 이동식 타이니 하우스네요.
So again, kind of making it more square versus linear feeling. I added this in later, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have the natural light come in. Yeah, I've been inspired by the mountains to just make that part of the cabinetry work. Put these out here. It becomes a little eating area. And then, if you want to take a shower or bath, down here, there's a bathtub. It's not huge, but it's enough to get in and get cleaned up from the day.
돌집을 짓고도 여행을 다니고 싶어 트럭을 개조했다는데요. 특히 알래스카를 좋아해 선박 적재가 가능하도록 만들었답니다. 여름엔 돌집 옆에 두고 숙박을 원하는 사람들에게 대여도 합니다. 별을 품은 돌집에 방문객이 찾아왔습니다. 마이크를 활짝 웃게 만드는 사람은 누굴까요?
Hey, buddy. Oh, yes. Yeah. What's going on? We have some friends. We have some friends. Hey.
Daddy's friends. Hi.
그의 아내와 사랑스런 두 아들입니다.
This is everybody. They all have cameras. Can you believe it?
Hi, everyone.
Wow. Come on up. This is Shiloh. Can you say hi, Shiloh? Shiloh is 2. Yeah, 2, right? Yeah. And this is Rose.
Hi. Nice to meet everyone. That's Nova.
첫째 노바는 4살. 촬영팀이 낯선 모양입니다. 독신으로 살던 마이크는 12년 전 로즈를 만나 늦깎이 아빠가 되었습니다. 어린 아들들은 아빠를 보러 돌집을 오가며 생활하는 중입니다.
It's just been a few days. Yeah. But, you know, that's a long time for the boys. They miss him, and I know he's having fun and doing what he loves to do, so. And he always comes home with the stories and, you know, promises to bring the boys up soon, and they love the snow, so. Michael's taken the boys up on the snow, up on the lift, and he holds them and snowboards down. And that's how kind of they got their first experiences with him snowboarding, just in his arms. Yeah.
마이크와 로즈는 세크라멘토에서 함께 자랐다고 합니다.
One part of meeting someone that you grew up with in some level, there's an old indigenous feeling. And I think when we first saw each other after 25 years, I think we were at a time in our life where like we just kept in sync of like what we both wanted. She's a singer, she has an opera voice, and so I fell in love with her when I first heard her sing, you know, and so from there on we just been getting to know each other. We travel a lot. I go chase her around in the summertime, mostly in Europe, and then she chases me when the snow arrives. And so we exchange hands on what we each do and appreciate that. And we're both learning a lot from each other in different worlds. Put that one in there.
Is it heavy?
A little bit.
Kind of.
No, they don't like the snow.
Why? I said, what about like in summertime?
It's too far.
아이들이 아빠 곁에 꼭 붙어서 떠날 줄을 모르네요.
Get the food on the fire. Come on. Steak 3.
가족들이 모였으니 파티를 해야죠.
Oh, stay!
Okay, let's stand back for a minute.
오늘 저녁 주방장은 마이크입니다.
Juggle time.
Okay.
But Daddy!
Yeah.
But Daddy, it's too stinky.
How long can you hold your breath? I'll bet you can hold it until the smoke's gone. But guess what? Sometimes you want smoke.
Why?
It gives it like a smoke flavor.
산 정상이라 바람이 많이 부는 편입니다.
Laying low. You see the smoke going over me?
Yes, but Daddy, it's too stinky.
It is. I'm going to smell like smoke.
Why?
Because it's making me smell like it. It's going right into my clothes.
옷에 연기는 뱄지만 가족이 먹을 고기는 맛있게 구워졌습니다.
Wait a minute, I'll be back.
All right, everybody sit around the table.
I'll move back.
Move up.
Dinner time! Dinner time, take the bell. Mommy, the bell said dinner time.
Wonderful. Might be too much.
조용하던 돌집이 오늘은 시끌벅적 사람 사는 집 같네요.
Two more seats outside.
Blessings on you, blessings on me, blessings on the animals, blessings on the meal.
Little blessings. Yeah, thank you for the food.
Thank you, Daddy.
And you guys made it yourself?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's our own version of a blessing.
Hey, Daddy.
Yes, move it.
Dad, what's that for?
사랑은 식탁에서 만들어지는 법. 가족과 둘러앉아 밥 먹는 시간은 즐거운 기억으로 남겠죠. 혼밥하던 마이크의 얼굴도 유난히 더 행복해 보입니다.
He's more in charge of the cooking, out in the, doing grill. And I do more of the cooking when it's inside. When it's colder, then we're in here, and we like to, we have a tradition up here. We call it one pot, one love. And it's everything goes in one pot. All the vegetables, all the spices, all the meats and fruits all together in one pot.
The last 3 days we spent with you, I don't think we've ever seen you laugh so much, man.
Yes, kids definitely do that. Make you young again.
마이크는 부모가 되는 법을 배워가고 있습니다.
Huh?
Okay, here they come.
아이들이 언제나 좋아하는 물놀이 시간.
Hey, Daddy. I want a different cup. I want a teapot.
아들의 주문도 받아야 하고 늦깎이 아빠 마이크가 뒤늦은 육아로 바쁩니다.
It's not hot. Why is that part really hot? It's hot. No. I love you.
이 온수 욕조를 만들 당시엔 몰랐겠죠. 자신에게 가족이 생길 거란 걸요.
Daddy. Watch this. You want to see something?
I first saw it, I didn't understand how beautiful it was.
Did you see it for the first time when you saw it? Was it?
It was
summer?
snow.
Oh, it was snow.
So I didn't understand all the features. I didn't know there was hot tub, the water, the fires, the lights, the deck. It was just a little cocoon in white.
혼자만의 욕조가 아닌 가족 전용이 된 욕조.
I want a big or a little?
Big.
Big or little? All right.
Oh, that's really good. Oh.
Now, why is it so hot over there? Now, why is it so hot over there? All right, now it's good.
You said it was great. How's it today?
Today is amazing. It is wonderful. Tenfold better having family. You get to share this all and have amazing experiences with everybody. And get these boys to grow up with this kind of life, enjoying these simple things in life. Wood fire, hot tub.
Do you have a tool set too, Nova?
노바의 기습 찬물 세례. 부모는 아이들 때문에 이렇게 웃습니다. 머지않아 온 가족이 머물 보금자리가 돌집 옆에 지어질 것 같네요. 시에라 네바다 산맥의 눈 쌓인 봉우리는 마이크의 힘든 시간을 치유하고 세상으로 나가게 했습니다. 몇 달 뒤면 하얀 설원으로 바뀔 이곳. 마이크는 설탕 같은 눈발을 날리며 스노우보드를 즐기겠죠. 마음에 드는 농장 부지를 찾는데 무려 2년이 걸렸습니다. 돈이 충분하지 않았고 나무로 집을 지을 수 있는 숲을 갖춘 땅을 원했기 때문입니다.
Built that and raised it in 2006. My son was born there.
So your son was born there?
He was, yeah.
Yep, and it is just a little 12-foot by 16-foot cabin, so it's a very small cabin, and we had a loft in there, so it was a small place to live, but we loved it, and we still do.
부부는 목재를 직접 골랐는데요. 건축에 대해 전혀 몰랐지만 책을 보거나 주변에 물어가며 결코 서두르지 않았습니다.
We both cut the timber frame for it together and built it together. It was our first big building we built together. Quite big. Yeah. Well, the first building we built together was that little shed over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the first structure.
That was the thing that you built up to?
It's a tool shed. Yeah. So it's just a garden shed. And then this building right here behind us is our summer kitchen. So that's where we did all of our canning.
세월이 지나면서 작은 오두막을 조금씩 확장해 지금의 집이 되었습니다. 농장 운영을 위한 건물도 지었죠.
So these were the first gardens we ever made. We're at Small Axe Farm. We also have pear trees and plum trees as well.
We'll make jam every year and make plum jam, and then we grow strawberries and we do strawberry rhubarb jam every year, and so we like to fill our jelly cabinet with those.
남쪽을 바라보는 언덕 위. 이 숲에서 가장 비옥한 토양에 농장이 있습니다. 대지의 규모는 5,000평 정도지만 그중 1,200여 평만 농사를 짓습니다. 숲을 망가뜨리고 싶지 않기 때문인데요. 유기농으로 농사를 짓고 자연이 균형을 잃지 않도록 합니다. 처음엔 에반과 하이디가 좋아하는 채소들을 키웠습니다.
So we have a lot of diversity here. So everything from baby bok choy to French breakfast radish, Hokkaido salad, turnips to scallions. We do broccolini, we do kale, we do chard, we do a ton of different crops.
하지만 사람들이 원하는 팔릴 만한 것들을 조사하고 가능한 모든 것들을 재배하기 시작하면서 농장 운영에 필요한 돈을 벌 수 있었습니다. 작은 농장으로 먹고 사는 부부가 선택한 전략이기도 하죠.
Sometimes you'll just get hit with a pest or a bad weather event or drought, and different crops respond differently to all of those factors. And if we lose this much broccolini, well, we've got more coming along. So keeping things small, farming small, successive crops, it makes so much sense for us financially. We're nice and diverse. We could lose this whole thing to a hailstorm tomorrow and we would be fine. We have so much more coming along. We would replant, and in 3 to 4 weeks we would have just as much food on the property.
버몬트 숲의 날씨는 변덕스럽습니다.
It's raining out. We haven't had a rainy harvest day yet, but alas.
But still, like you continue to, harvest.
Oh, even if it's pouring. On harvest, that's the only day if it's raining and it's not harvest day, we always find work to do inside the greenhouses. But if it's harvest day, there's just no getting around it.
부부는 작은 농장 어디서든 매일매일 쉬지 않고 일합니다.
I know, this is the footage we all want.
반려견 셀리도 유기농 채소를 좋아한답니다.
And how much did you say you had left? Yep, let's do. Baby kale. Okay, let me look at the board. Hang on.
농사를 짓는다는 것은 자연의 순리를 따라 함께 어우러져 살아가는 것이죠.
I like the flow of the seasons in farming, how predictable they are, but how I never cease to be surprised or just overjoyed every time, the first robin comes or the first phoebe birds are here chirping for that time of year. Everything on the farm, signifies like a ritual. It creates a wonderful rhythm to our lives that.
부부는 지난 16년간 계절을 온몸으로 받아들이며 살아왔습니다. 농장에서는 시기마다 해야만 하는 일이 있고 이제는 그것들을 깨닫고 수확을 누리는 것에 완벽히 적응했습니다. 이제 오늘의 일과가 끝났습니다. 작지만 어디서든 숲을 볼 수 있는 아늑한 집으로 돌아왔습니다. 집을 짓는 데 쓰인 목재는 전부 근처의 숲이나 폐가에 버려진 것을 주워온 것입니다. 나무의 자연스러운 형태를 그대로 살려 만들었는데요. 어떻게 자란 나무였는지 모두 기억하고 있습니다.
Was where we lived for 4 years before we had electricity or running water. Our son was born in this room, and we've since added on, so we've got a bigger house now. But this is still our favorite place in the house.
일부러 문명과 떨어진 삶을 선택한 것이 아니라 부부는 현실적으로 예산이 넉넉하지 못했습니다. 집을 짓고 땅을 사기 위해 힘들게 돈을 모아야 했습니다. 그렇게 지금까지 버텨온 것이죠. 집기들도 대부분 새 것이 아닙니다. 이것들은 옛날 에반의 아버지가 얻어왔고 나무를 떼는 방식의 스토브를 오랫동안 사용했습니다.
Haven't looked in a minute. Yeah, so this is a wood cook stove. You can only fit like a small round pan is basically what we fit in here. We got this free from a neighbor, somebody in our community that was getting rid of it. Prior to us getting hot water last year, we would heat all of our hot water for bathing on this. And so I would heat everything here, and then I would carry it in. We had a tub, and I would carry it into the bathroom, these big heavy pots of water, and pour it in, and then we would add cold water, and then we would have a tub. He grew up a little bit more in this fashion than I did. I grew up in suburbia, and he really grew up on a homestead. Coming out here, as much as I wanted it, I think the hardest part for me would be we would work so physically hard. Everything was hard. Everything you tried to do was hard. First little 80-watt solar panel, and we could turn on just a few lights. The time that I turned on music for the first time in 4 years and could hear music flowing throughout the cabin because we had enough power to do that. And I don't think I really realized that I hadn't listened to music like that in 4 years. And I turned it on and I was just in tears because you don't realize how much you need that in your life and how incredible that is.
Last year we got running hot water in our house for the first time.
In 16 years, we had no hot water until last year. And so, yeah, everyone is appreciating the shower and the...
And this year we built a shower in our house, and that's the first time we've had a shower in 16 years. We would use a bathtub before that.
We don't have a mortgage. You know, we're free from that. We also didn't have hot water for 16 years, and that's why we didn't have a mortgage, but we wanted those options so that we could make choices.
부부에게 가장 큰 변화는 아이가 생긴 것이었습니다.
We had a couch here. It was amazing. I just sort of says, Evan, I think it's happening. So we came back in, I think that was 3:30 in the afternoon. I labored overnight, just keeping track. I called my midwives and I was just here.
And I was just boiling water all day, just like in the movies.
Just to keep it warm, but it
the
was
whole day,
incredible.
just boiling water, dumping, yeah.
이 집에서 아들은 하루가 다르게 성장했습니다. 에반과 하이드는 좀 더 큰 공간이 필요하다고 판단했습니다. 그래서 작은 오두막은 부엌으로 남겨두고 옆에 세로 건물을 올려 거실과 침실을 만들었습니다. 드디어 이곳에도 화장실이 생겼습니다. 물 없는 변기를 갖추고 있는데요. 대신 톱밥을 사용해 퇴비를 만듭니다. 벽에 바른 점토와 속을 채운 볏짚과 모래 역시 숲에서 얻은 것입니다. 부부는 버몬트의 추운 겨울을 나기 위해 아주 특별한 방법을 찾았습니다. 바로 한국의 온돌과 같은 구조를 택한 것이죠.
When we poured the foundation for it, we put radiant we put tubes for water in the floor so that we can now heat this house with radiant heating. So we just run hot water through the floor, which definitely, it wasn't super common in this country when we did it, but we knew people who had done it, and it seemed to make a lot of sense to us as a smart way to heat your house.
집을 짓는 계획을 세우는 데만 2년 정도 걸렸습니다. 인부를 따로 쓰진 않았지만 무려 40명이나 되는 친구들이 에반과 하이디를 도왔습니다. 대형 중장비 없이 집을 짓고 싶었고 모든 사람들이 함께 연구하고 즐기면서 그것을 해냈습니다. 이 집은 그런 시간의 기억을 모두 담고 있는 공간입니다.
There's basically like skateboard, yes. Yep, skateboard accident, yeah. Kind of
I saw one crack up there too.
basketball. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah.
From your son.
Yeah, I remember coming down and being like, oh.
Yeah, one more hit and that's
Yeah.
gonna go.
Figured while they're young, we'll just leave it like that and stuff. But then we got the cats and they love to scratch on these.
기초를 세울 공간이 작아 이렇게 2층 집이 되었습니다. 침실을 만들 수 있었고 작년까지 아들과 함께 3명의 가족이 사용했습니다.
That's how we get exercise in the winter time. So lots of pull-ups, and we, as much as we work in the farm and we get strong, we really, as we get older, we need to do more and more strength training. So this is just a piece of that, and yeah, we both use them. And
Until last year, our son also lived here. This is Heidi's office now, but this was his bedroom up here.
we sort of sectioned it off just a little bit, but we were really sort of all in the same room. But he had a little bit of his own space over here until he moved downstairs.
1층에 있는 아들 허클의 방은 작년에 완성됐습니다. 바쁜 농장 일로 미뤄져 계획한 후 무려 10년이 걸렸습니다. 10대 청소년이 음악을 마음껏 들을 수 있도록 벽이 두꺼운 것이 특징이죠. 주말 아침 식사를 준비합니다. 식재료는 밭에서 얻기도 하지만 근처 농가나 가게에서 사오기도 합니다.
Sally!
바쁜 일상에서 건강한 음식을 큰 부담 없이 직접 만들어 먹는 것이 중요하다고 생각하죠.
Well, we're having a breakfast with the family and one of Huckle's friends. Yafta is here, so he's joining us for some pancakes, some home fries, some eggs. We just like to take our time on Sunday and just have a nice meal together.
부부는 이런 시간을 소중하게 생각합니다.
So once you get the, do another couple rounds.
Yeah, these are all of a sudden just.
We both cook.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it just depends, and it depends on the time of year. I cook more in the summertime, and Heidi cooks more in the wintertime.
I'm a better baker, he's a better cook. He's very, very good. A simple life.
드디어 식사 시간입니다.
I love those little basil plants on the windowsill.
I know. You know, sometimes.
Just hiking the park.
허클의 친구 요프타는 어린 시절부터 자주 함께 주말을 보낸 사이입니다.
think so.
Nice.
Yeah, no.
There you go. Stick them over there.
요프타의 가족 역시 근처 숲에서 살고 있죠.
I like a lot of food. I don't know. I eat everything that she makes, and it's all really good. So. Oh well, when I was younger, me and my dad built like a little kind of fort thing up in the woods up there, and I like that a lot. Like a little structure. Yeah. It's cool.
아들이 좋아하는 것은 또 있습니다. 엄마가 만든 각종 피클과 잼 같은 병조림입니다. 채소를 키우기 시작한 이후 거의 모든 수확물을 병조림으로 만들었습니다.
That we make every year, and we've been canning since we moved into the farm and started growing food, and we tend to do about 700 jars a year. We have a long winter, and you know, it really does cut into our grocery costs, which is great, and we get to continue to eat our food even when there's snow on the ground.
버몬트에서는 겨울이면 병조림을 만드는 것이 지역의 특성입니다. 신선한 채소가 나는 계절에는 요리할 시간이 부족한데 병조림을 만들면 1년 내내 맛있는 음식을 먹을 수 있습니다. 또한 작은 농부 가족의 짭짤한 수입원이기도 하죠.
So this is a strawberry rhubarb jam. Huckle has a rhubarb business here on the property, so he always harvests the rhubarb, and so that's his contribution to our jam. So Huckle started a rhubarb business when he was 4 years old here on the farm, and at the time he couldn't do all of the work himself, so he did about 25% of the work and he got about 25% of the income.
허클은 원하는 것을 얻기 위해 무엇을 해야 하는지, 얼마나 노력해야 하는지 자연스럽게 배우며 성장했습니다.
He's still doing it now, and he's 16. So, and he makes a decent amount of money from that every season. You know, between $500 and $700. And you know, when he was young, I remember he used his money. He bought a whitewater kayak, his first little whitewater kayak. It was his first little mountain bike when he first started. So he used that money to sort of, you know, buy things for himself and get outdoors, and that was.
숲에서의 삶의 방향은 명확합니다. 농장에서 열심히 일하고 휴일에는 자연을 적극적으로 즐깁니다. 카약도 그중 하나입니다. 허클은 요즘 산악자전거에 빠져 있습니다. 이 숲에서 할 수 있는 가장 좋아하는 스포츠죠. 친구가 더 좋은 10대 아들이 놀러 나가면 에반과 하이디도 준비를 합니다.
It depends. We've been on long sea kayaking trips in Alaska, and we paddled the southern coast of Newfoundland. So we've done some long trips, and we've done some day trips, but mostly when we go out, we usually go for a long trip. But Lake Willoughby is a pretty exceptional place to go, so we're excited. It's the perfect day for it. Winter, we do wild skating, and we cross-country ski, and we backcountry ski.
I love the winter time, and I love early in the morning. You know, like in the winter time when I do a lot of long distance ice skating, and oftentimes I'll get to the ice before the sun is up on a huge frozen wild lake, and then be skating as the sun comes up, and I love that feeling of like meeting the day.
겨울에는 꽁꽁한 호수를 따라 스케이트를 타며 긴 여행도 하는데요. 풍경에 빠져 캐나다 부근까지 간 적도 있습니다. 이렇게 겨울을 보내고 나면 여름에는 주로 캠핑과 등산을 하는데요. 오프로드 자전거를 타고 가족 여행을 갑니다. 농장을 떠나 40분 정도 달리면 아름다운 호수가 나옵니다. 겨울엔 스케이트를, 여름엔 카약을 타는 곳이죠.
This is a spray skirt. So that will go around the cockpit so no water can come in the boat. And especially when we're out in big waves, we don't really need them too much today, but out in big waves they keep the boat from filling with water.
일과 여가 생활의 균형을 이루는 것, 그리고 단순하게 살자는 것이 숲에 살기로 결심한 에반과 하이디의 철학입니다.
This moment in the back of my mind, the time we stood with our shaking hands, the
There's a couple, about a month and a half in the summertime where we have to work longer hours. Once we hit like the second week in July through the first week in September, it's just really busy on the farm. And we also tend to leave for we'll do a wilderness trip in the summertime, usually in the beginning of July, and so that pushes our summer schedule a little bit. But we don't work really crazy hours, and we've purposefully designed our lives and our farm so that
on a history book page, it was the end of a decade, but the start of an age.
허클과 요프타는 숲속의 스키장으로 갔습니다. 두 친구는 주말마다 5시간 넘게 이곳에서 산악 자전거를 탑니다.
I probably started when I was around like 4 or 5, and we've been skiing here ever since, pretty much.
And biking, we started around like 2016, so about 7 years ago, and we just started.
A long time ago, I'm not really sure. I used to go with my dad a lot to Kingdom Trails, which is a local trail system that has, a lot of great trails and stuff.
With your daddy?
Yeah.
산악 자전거는 아버지 에반에게 배웠습니다.
he grew up in the gardens and out in the woods while I was logging with the draft horses and all the, he just grew up around something that not a lot of kids get the opportunity to. So, and we were happy for that. We wanted him to have that experience.
에반과 하이디의 작은 농장에서는 전기가 필요한 대형 농기계를 사용하지 않습니다. 토양을 심하게 해치지 않아야 땅이 건강해지고 작물이 자연스럽게 자랄 수 있는 최상의 상태가 된다고 믿기 때문입니다. 이 농기구도 낯설지 않습니다. 어디서 봤죠?
This cedar is manufactured and was invented in Korea, and it's widely considered to be one of the best cedars on the planet. And so a lot of small farms like these, like ours, will use this exact cedar.
농장에서 가장 중요한 5줄짜리 씨앗 심는 한국산 기계입니다. 흔히 미국 하면 끝이 보이지 않는 대평원에 거대한 트랙터로 농사짓는 모습을 떠올립니다. 그런데 한국의 농기구로 농사를 짓는 작은 농장을 미국에서 만나다니 신기하죠? 에반의 숲을 지키며 농사를 짓는 소박한 방식입니다. 작은 농부 가족이 또 지키려는 것이 있습니다. 바로 저 의자인데요. 여름 주방의 지붕 위에는 항상 빨간 의자가 놓여 있습니다.
Well, that was probably the hardest single moment. When you asked what was most challenging, that was just one moment. That was, and it's never left us really. But we had spent our farm building, our wash pack building, we had spent 5 years building that. And we're in process of expanding it, and we had just finished up the inside. But we woke up in the middle of the night to flames on the side of the building.
공들인 농장 건물과 함께 가장 가까운 사람을 잃었습니다. 가족 같았던 친구 캘시죠.
But anyways, she was someone we were very close to, and she died here on our farm in that fire. And that red chair on top of our summer kitchen, Kelsey made that chair, and she brought it here, and she put it up on the roof. When she was here, she put it up there, so we've always just kept it up there. And we see it every morning when we wake up in our bedroom. We look out through our window to that chair on top of the roof. And
부부는 캘시를 그들의 삶 속에 머물게 하기로 했습니다. 슬프지만 그녀를 잊으려고 노력하는 게 아니라 기억하려 애쓰고 있습니다. 부부는 사건 이후 절망을 딛고 농장 건물을 새로 지었습니다. 당시에도 역시 많은 친구들이 도움을 주었습니다. 가장 많은 시간을 보내는 공간. 농장에서 수확한 모든 채소가 이곳으로 옵니다.
This is Sally's favorite crop right here, is Japanese salad turnips. The chefs really like them as well. We try to clean them up and get them out on the shelves.
세척을 마친 채소는 포장 작업을 합니다. 이 과정을 위해 농장의 철학에 공감하는 직원들도 몇몇 채용했습니다. 라벨도 지역 예술가가 직접 디자인해 준 겁니다. 다양한 채소는 주로 샐러드용으로 판매됩니다. 온라인으로 주문해 정기 구독하는 고객도 있고 지역 유통업체나 식당에도 나갑니다.
Yep, we're doing deliveries, and this store sells a lot of local vegetables, bread, all different kinds of products. A lot of farms now do value-added products, so they'll have their canned salsas and tomato sauces and stuff they sell there as well.
에바는 배달 일을 좋아합니다. 아름다운 숲길을 운전할 수 있고 좋은 이웃들을 만나는 시간이죠. 코로나19가 심했을 때는 어르신들께 집까지 배달을 해줬습니다.
It may seem like we live in the middle of nowhere, but we know most of our neighbors who live within several miles of us. I think people who come from the city think that we're really isolated, but we're not, because we kind of, every road we drive down, we know people who live on it. We don't know everybody, but we know a lot of people, and oftentimes we've had strong relationships with them. We've helped each other out, done each other favors.
배달은 한 주에 2번 나옵니다. 가장 먼 곳이 농장에서 40km나 됩니다. 에반과 하이디는 일을 마친 후에는 집에서도 적극적으로 할 일을 찾습니다. 일이라고 할 수는 없겠네요. 하이디는 20년이 넘게 뜨개질을 취미로 하고 있습니다. 크리스마스나 명절이면 직접 만든 모자를 선물하는 것이 작은 기쁨이죠.
Okay, good. That's fun. The reason that every season that it's not every season that I change a hobby, but a lot of seasons I will try something new. I think because I'm curious and I just want to learn new things, and I always think there's something out there that I'm going to pick up and try, and I'm absolutely going to love it. And right now, I don't even realize that I would love it or be good at it because I haven't tried it. I haven't bumped up against it yet.
그림을 그리는 것은 취미이기도 했고요. 기타도 배우기 시작했습니다.
I don't know. I love all these things, and I think through practice and through the fact that you can create, they're creative, and it makes me feel productive, which I really like. I get that from the farm, but then I get that from my hobbies as well.
에반의 취미는 목공입니다. 그 중에서도 숟가락을 만드는 것을 가장 좋아합니다.
And then I try to find the shape of a spoon in the tree. You know, the spoon is already in there. It's just sitting in there. And with a power tool, you can kind of force a shape on the wood. But when you're carving, you're going to find out how the wood wants to move to get to the shape of a spoon. And that way, every spoon will be different.
에반은 어릴 때부터 숟가락을 조각했습니다. 점점 더 실력이 늘었고 그에 맞는 도구도 찾았습니다.
And so when I was traveling in the wilderness, I liked to have my hands busy, so I just started carving, and I've carved thousands of spoons probably at this point. I always gave them away, but then in our early years here, I carved spoons and sold them and to make money, and I would sell a couple $1,000s worth of spoons a year, which was a lot of money to us at that time when we didn't have much income. So yeah, that's how I got into it. But finishing that first spoon, it was the first really nice thing I'd ever made out of wood, and it gave me the confidence to know that I can build a house.
만약 정말 좋은 작은 물건 하나를 만들 수 있다면 큰 목재를 가져와 근사한 집도 지을 수 있다고 생각한 거죠.
But I love that. Yeah, I love this wood is black cherry, which grows in our forest. So it's got a red heartwood that will get really dark red in time, and then its sapwood is bright white.
농장에서 1시간 정도 떨어진 곳에 이곳 사람들이 좋아하는 아름다운 마을이 있습니다. 이 식당이 마을을 바꿨다는데요. 에반과 하이디가 농장을 시작했을 때 가장 많은 도움을 준 오랜 고객이기도 합니다.
Yeah, this is a great, kind of one of our favorite places to come when we just sort of finished a long harvest day, and it's a good time for us to sort of reconnect as a family when we're busy. We like to come here and support these folks. They've been great to us. We love this place.
가족은 삶에서 원하는 모든 것을 스스로 선택하고 만들어 왔습니다. 계속해서 변화하겠지만 자연 속에서 농사를 지으며 소박하게 살아가기를 원하는 마음은 결코 변치 않을 것이라고 생각합니다.
Yeah, I think we'll always have our hands in the dirt and be able to sort of, make a living off this at our own pace.
We will, and we hope to live here the rest of our lives. We may or may not be able to do that. That's just luck as to what happens to your body and all the other circumstances. But this is our home, and we have always been much more focused on the way of life we want to live as opposed to what we're doing. Like, we don't, if there was some reason to stop farming and do something different here, we would do that.
작은 농부들이 키워가는 그들만의 큰 행복이 이곳 숲속에 있습니다. 도시와는 완벽히 다른 삶의 방식으로 살아가는 또 누구나 살아볼 수 있는 특별한 공간. 디어 아일에 자리 잡은 17세기풍의 목조 주택입니다. 이곳을 직접 만든 한 남자를 만나보죠.
Good morning.
How you feeling today?
We're doing good. How are you?
Feeling great.
Wow, this is wonderful.
Nice to see you.
Good, yes. So, tell us what you're doing this morning.
I'm just mowing around the edge of the garden here, which will help keep the weeds out of the fence line and make it for easier maintenance through the season.
You have lots of stuff here.
Yeah, maybe a little too much. But I enjoy working outside and taking care of it all, so it's somewhere between pleasure and hobby and work.
먹거리를 책임지는 텃밭입니다. 다양한 채소들을 심었는데 겨울까지 거뜬히 날 수 있을 정도입니다.
Looks like someone from horror movie or one of those sorts.
This is a late 19th century American style scythe. They used to make blades like this here in Maine. This one's a brush scythe. It's good for cutting blackberries and coarse stuff. So it looks like it might fit the role, but actually...
텃밭에서 베어내는 잡초들은 줄기가 억세, 정원의 잔디보단 쉽게 날을 무디게 만듭니다. 데니스는 숫돌로 항상 날을 날카롭게 유지합니다.
This is hard work with a dull blade, but very effortless with a sharp blade. So many people think that this is very difficult work. Maybe they've tried it with a dull blade or they didn't know how to move their bodies. This is a stupid thing that stupid people did in the past and not understand their sharpness for understanding tools and their advantages that they had that we might have forgotten now.
문명과 조금 떨어져 살아가다 보면 몸이 부지런해집니다. 무딘 날처럼 있다가는 버틸 수 없기 때문입니다.
Keep out the deer.
Deer?
Yeah. So we're on Deer Isle. There's deer in the yard all the time. We have a lot of good stuff for them to eat outside of the garden and a little fence, so they stay out.
원래 사슴들이 주인인 메인주의 작은 섬. 데니스는 17년 전 이곳에 왔습니다. (2만) 평의 대지를 사들여 오랜 시간 꿈꾸던 집을 지었습니다. 당시 데니스는 유능한 석공이었지만 건축에 대해서는 아무것도 몰랐습니다. 단지 자재와 작업 방식이 소박하면서도 오랜 세월을 견뎌낼 수 있기를 바랐습니다. 집은 숲에서 구한 가뭄비 나무로 지어졌는데요. 수십, 수백 년간 거친 숲에서 살아남은 것들이죠.
In this area, historically, the foundations were rock holes underneath the building. It's just usually just made out of rocks, either from the yard where the farm's been being cleaned up, or we have quarries around here and the ability to split granite into nice blocks, and is really very typical of the area up until World War II and the coming of cement here.
건물에는 페인트 칠을 하지 않았고 쇠로 된 못을 거의 사용하지 않은 것도 특징입니다. 약간의 장식을 한 정도죠.
All right, here we are in the house, and what you're looking at is representative of a late 17th century New England house.
부엌은 손님들이 편하게 사용할 수 있도록 개방된 구조입니다. 내부에 사용된 자재들도 역시 직접 손으로 자르고 깎아 하나하나 다듬어낸 것들이죠.
It was very typical in early American and English work and probably everywhere else to not leave square corners. It's nicer to be around, not sharp corners. Was the law because it doesn't catch fire as good if it doesn't have corners. Really, when it comes down to it, the reason to work in a 17th century style was because the maximum amount of using local materials to build was going to be the rule rather than the exception. We don't really have completely handmade buildings in New England, but this was the closest I could come to.
호스텔로도 운영하는 이곳에는 직원도 한 명 있습니다. 데니스와는 10여 년 전 조지아의 시골에서 자원봉사를 하면서 만났는데요. 소식을 듣고는 찾아와서 돕기 시작했습니다.
Tonight I think we'll have 12 people for dinner. So I'll try to make there be enough food for everyone and also enough variety that there's a few different choices if people like one thing but like something else a little less.
데니스가 추구하는 삶의 방식을 누구보다 잘 아는 그녀입니다. 식재료는 대부분 이곳 텃밭에서 얻은 것들인데요. 건강한 방식으로 충분한 시간을 들여 직접 만드는 게 원칙입니다. 숲을 자유롭게 즐기던 손님들은 저녁 6시 반이면 함께 모여 식사를 합니다. 데니스나 오로라가 준비한 것들이 대부분이지만 손님들이 가져온 음식을 나눠 먹기도 하는데요. 도시에서 온 손님들에게는 경험하기 어려운 시간입니다.
It looks like it for sure.
모닥불 또한 빠질 수 없는 경험이 되겠죠. 도시 문명과 단절된 일상. 소박한 한 끼 식사를 나누는 시간도 새로운 경험입니다.
Feels like from another time or from maybe a story, everything happening slower, everything happening in accordance to nature's way. So I think that's what has drawn me back here, is slowing down and enjoying and diving into different practices that maybe aren't necessarily the most efficient, but they feel like long-lasting. Like they're going to build long-lasting relationships and long-lasting structures.
2층은 호스텔로 운영하는 시기에는 손님들의 숙소입니다. 근처에서 가장 흔하게 자라는 가뭄비 나무로 만들었는데 무엇보다 숲을 가까이 느낄 수 있도록 했습니다. 작은 공간이지만 3층도 있습니다. 17세기 건물에서 다락방은 하녀가 사용한 공간이었는데요. 손님이 많은 여름에 일을 돕는 인턴 직원의 숙소로 사용되고 있습니다.
Before I was doing this, I actually went to college for television production, which was fun, but I just really wanted to live in the countryside and I really wanted to do my own thing. Well, when I was in school, it seemed like the options were to do what my roommates and college mates did, to get work in the city and go buy a house and stuff. I've been just having fun for 5 years. Like, I don't want to do that. What am I going to do? I had an idea, but my family and my friends didn't have the same idea. So it was lonely.
데니스는 자신의 집을 짓기 위해 석공 기술을 배웠습니다. 결국 본인의 뜻대로 도시를 떠나 작은 섬 디어 아일에서의 삶을 선택한 겁니다. 목수인 아버지와 함께 일했고 1999년부터 숲속의 집을 천천히 지어나가기 시작했습니다.
I felt like carpentry was in my blood, you know. Dad was, his father was, his father was. And my mother and both sets of grandparents were really good gardeners, so I learned those things from them. So many of the elements that I have here, I was already beginning at 9 or 10 years old.
설계도도 제대로 만들지 못했던 데니스는 이제 옛 건축 방식에 대해서는 누구나 인정하는 전문가가 됐습니다.
Here we have an article I've written about log building with the Dalarna corner notch. This is about some Swedish joinery that's been used for 500 years.
지하는 데니스가 가장 애정을 갖는 공간입니다. 바로 저장고인데요. 디어 아일의 풍부한 화강암으로 지은 겁니다. 지하 저장고 덕분에 냉장 시설 없이 텃밭에서 난 채소들을 보관하고 1년 내내 활용할 수 있게 됐습니다.
Here's something that is kept in the cellar. This is a sauerkraut. Not as good as your Korean kimchi, but it's not bad stuff either. And this is something that we would keep in the cellar.
Similar to Korean style.
I bet so, yeah. When we make our little American style kimchi, that's what we use is the.
제법 그럴듯하죠? 이른 아침, 오로라가 거실 난로에 불을 떼고 있습니다. 지금은 한여름인데 말이죠. 무슨 일일까요?
Well, it's cold. I'm cold. I'm from Florida. So Maine is much colder for much longer now. And yeah, we try to keep it nice in the mornings and the evenings so that it's a pleasant place to hang out and feels warm and homey. By the afternoon it will warm up, but in the evening it gets can do.
바닷가라 그런지 여름에도 저녁부터 이른 아침까지는 습기를 머금은 추위가 있답니다. 그럼에도 불구하고 오로라가 이 집에서 인생의 중요한 시기를 보내는 이유가 있습니다. 바로 데니스죠.
Dennis is a visionary person. He really created something incredible. He made something the hard way. And not just out of habit or out of ease of materials or whatever, but really because he chose that lifestyle for himself because he believed in it and really has a strong philosophy behind.
숲속 집에 손님이 찾아오는 시기엔 할 일이 정말 많습니다. 조수가 밀려올 시간이 되면 데니스가 장비를 챙기죠.
We're getting ready to go up to the shore. We'll get the seaweed in these boxes and pick it up with a fork and rubber boots.
울창한 숲을 가로질러 한참을 달리다 보면 모래사장과 갯벌, 푸른 바다가 펼쳐지는데요. 데니스에게는 또 다른 삶의 현장입니다. 해변에 도착하자 데니스가 무척 바빠집니다.
This one's called bladder rack, and it's got this aloe stuff inside. And it is really like aloe. It will take sunburn away. So that's very nice when you're out boating.
해초는 파도에 밀려온 것들로 가져갑니다. 살아있는 것들은 주인이 따로 있거든요. 며칠 동안 햇볕에 수분이 빠진 것들을 가져가는 거죠.
This will be mulch for the garden. It will mulch the garden, it will hold the moisture in, and it will provide nutrients, all three.
뜻밖의 용도네요. 이것들을 전부 밭으로 옮겨야 한다니 만만한 작업이 아닙니다.
It's a nice job with 3 people, really.
Yeah, 3 is good, 2 is doable, 1 is not.
Yeah, one's tiring.
오로라는 바다에 나온 김에 해당화도 땁니다.
The petals from the beach rose have a really distinct and summery smell. And we just collect the petals. They kind of bloom all summer, so you can just keep picking them and picking them. They keep blooming. And Dennis will dry them in the attic, and that can go into teas. Also, the fresh petals, some people put them into honey, so local Maine honey, and the petals sit in there and kind of infuse the honey with the smell of the rose.
데니스는 갯벌의 어부가 됩니다. 조개를 캐려는 건데요.
This one is called a soft shell clam, or here in Maine we call it a steamer. Cook it just light, just so it's just about cooked through, and then it's tender and delicious.
다른 생각 없이 오로지 조개 구멍을 찾고 뻘을 파내는 데만 집중합니다.
I think the way a lot of people would like to experience life, were maybe a little bit more disconnected than we naturally should be. So it's good to have at least a foot in the dirt somewhere.
우럭조개는 데니스가 가장 좋아하는 겁니다. 그만의 먹는 방식이 따로 있는데요. 바로 녹인 버터에 찍어 먹는 거죠.
Oh my God, that was good.
The guys that dig clams make distinctions between the ones that come out of the mud and the ones that come out of where it's gravelly mud. So if you've got mud clams, to them that's a superior product because you'll never get the gravel when you eat it.
다른 음식이나 음료 한 잔 곁들이지 않고 조개만 계속해서 먹고 또 먹는데 세상 행복해 보입니다.
Well, we're wrapping up. I'm eating. It's been fantastic. What's not to smile about?
일이 끝났다고 하더니 전혀 아니었습니다. 바다에서 가져온 해초를 텃밭에 덮어줘야 하는데요. 자주 하는 작업은 아니고 한 계절에 한 번 정도 된답니다. 해초를 텃밭에 활용하는 건 다른 바닷가 마을의 농부들에게 아이디어를 얻은 겁니다.
But the seaweed has just about everything in it, and it balances the soil back out. So in this case, we're mulching with the seaweed. It's got the nutrients. It will get absorbed by worms coming up and eating it and pulling it in. And I think in the process, the nitrogen goes up, perhaps. Good that way. It's got everything you need to feed the soil.
해초를 덮고 자란 건강한 채소들이네요.
So right now, with that single clove has expanded into this, but it will get about that big from here.
사실 이 텃밭은 데니스의 전 아내가 가꾼 것입니다. 데니스가 호스텔을 짓는 동안 그녀가 맡은 일이었는데요. 당시엔 완벽한 분업이었습니다.
It's hard to express right now because it was much more complete when I was married. Something we haven't touched on, like the homesteading is not really a solo activity. So there's a lot of differences now between how it was and how it is.
집을 짓기 시작할 때부터 함께했던 아내와 헤어진 지금, 데니스는 새로운 인생에 적응하는 방법을 익히는 중입니다. 드디어 일을 마무리한 데니스. 어디론가 바쁘게 걸어가는데요. 뭘 하려는 걸까요? 야외 샤워장이네요.
So this is a way to slow the water usage down. The hot water's coming out.
절약이 몸에 밴 데니스답네요.
And I'm going to cool it off a little bit. Very hot, too hot. Well, I've cooled it off a little bit now, but it's just about right.
해초는 야외 샤워장에도 쓰입니다. 해초가 썩으면서 열을 발생시켜 물을 데우는 퇴비 보일러인데요. 정말 작동이 됩니다.
Here we are at the compost heated outdoor shower here, and this is the water heater. It's a compost pile. It's made out of wood chips, just about like that, and seaweed from the shore. We're looking at the dial here, and we have almost 150 degrees Fahrenheit. This is about as hot as this gets.
1년 중 호스텔로 운영하는 100일 동안 보통 400여 명이 방문하는데 모두 따뜻한 물로 샤워를 합니다. 놀랍게도 해초 퇴비 덕분에요.
Very often this compost starts hot and then it goes down. So I'll have 140, 150 degrees for a few days. Then after, let's say a week, it will go down to about 120.
데니스가 농장 일을 끝낸 후 하는 샤워는 더 없는 행복이겠죠? 숲속의 야외 샤워장, 그것도 해처 더미로 데운 온수로 몸을 씻다니 사람이 꽃이나 나무가 되는 시간입니다.
Handsome guy.
Nice handsome guy.
화장실도 야외에 있습니다. 여긴 톱밥이 활용되는데요. 퇴비 처리 시설이 되어 있습니다.
With some sawdust. Some sawdust, and usually that's about enough to cover most things or absorb most things.
바로 이렇게 하면 되는데 실수하면 큰일이죠.
A little bit light. And some of the inspiration we got to do that was actually from a book, Farmers of 40 Centuries, and it described how Koreans used human ore in their agriculture. And that was, well, it was a little bit of a new concept over here, 25 years ago anyway.
퇴비를 만들어주는 야외 화장실이지만 뜻밖의 냄새가 전혀 나지 않는다고 하네요.
It's hard outside? Dark yellow or sale, then you get $3 each. Yes. Who have never experienced this before, and how do you react to this?
Yes, I certainly have. I've had a lot of people come out of here and say, that was not nearly as bad as I expected. And I have had some people come out and say, that's the nicest experience I've had going to the bathroom. I can open it and watch the birds while I'm doing my business. I think it's a lot more exciting.
Oh. So I just took a little extra time to.
데니스의 집은 여름과 가을 100일 정도 손님을 받는데요. 미국은 물론 전 세계에서 찾아옵니다. 처음엔 4년간이나 손님이 없었죠.
We invited some friends and people in the neighborhood over to have dinner with us that night so we wouldn't be lonely. And we got sitting around the table. The food was served. Everybody was there and there was a knock on the door. I opened the door and a couple was standing there and they said, we heard this was a hostel. We're from Switzerland. Oh my God. Into the fact that they were the first guests and this was a very special moment, and I caught her with a tear in her eye. That was the best pay, I think, ever. She had a tear in her eye and I said, you know, what's going on? And she said, this place reminds me of a chalet in Switzerland that I spent time at as a kid often. My favorite place. I felt like we were on the right track for sure. Which I needed that moment bad.
옛날 방식의 농사법으로 먹거리를 얻고 오래된 도구들을 사용해 꾸려가는 생활답게 모든 것들이 천천히 이루어지나 봅니다. 텃밭만큼 중요한 곳, 닭장인데요. 역시 데니스가 닭들을 돌보기 위해 손수 만든 겁니다.
Woo! 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 Well, the chickens lay in one of these 4 boxes. We have about 12 chickens. We get about 12 eggs at this time. Yeah, I made the door small and the chickens have to duck and go through, but I think it keeps the fat raccoon out. What did it do?
닭들은 주로 방목하는데요. 먹이로 풀을 주는 것이 특이합니다. 연하고 즙이 많을수록 더 좋아한다고 하네요.
It certainly is going to make the yolks much yellower, make the chickens more vibrant, really.
이번엔 매나 독수리를 쫓기 위해 알루미늄 판들을 매다는 작업입니다. 제법 효과가 있다네요. 늘 일이 많지만 데니스는 반드시 깊은 숲속으로 걸어 들어가 자연과 함께하는 혼자만의 시간을 갖습니다.
I do feel at home here because what happens is, over time, you get familiar with the things that are here. Only by experience can you function with nature as an ally. It's been suggested to me sometimes, like, well, why don't we move to Arizona? You have allergies and it bothers you here. And it's like, well, it's because there's no trees there that I know. And there's no trees. There's nothing I'm familiar with. And you know, you see me, I'm familiar with the spruce trees and the clams and the deer.
사실 이 숲에 자신만의 집을 짓는다는 꿈은 아직 미완성입니다. (2007년부터) 본격적인 작업을 시작했지만 한 해 한 해 집은 꼭 필요한 공간만을 더해가며 변화했고 여전히 현재 진행형입니다. 특히 3층 다락방은 인턴 직원이 사용하는 공간을 제외하고는 마치 창고 같은 모습인데요. 시간과 돈이 허락할 때 조금씩 완성해가고 있습니다.
As if I finish it before I die, we'll know how long it took. But basically what it was is around 2007, the cellar hole was dug, like one room a winter. So there's basically 4 rooms in there, so basically 4 winters.
What time it's completed enough? No, before you had add-ons.
I think we have another couple of years.
하지만 데니스는 서두르지 않습니다. 사실 호스텔 말고도 오두막을 몇 개 더 지었는데요. 요즘 짓고 있는 건 야외 사우나입니다.
We're building a little log sauna here. It's pretty standard here. You see how many logs, that there's a door in front, that there's log purlins here, and you see the pegging pattern. So there's pegs holding the logs from twisting.
거의 수작업으로만 진행되다 보니 느리고 더딥니다.
Ever seen one of those? This is a tool from Norway, and it's a draw gouge. So it's for making that shape. And you just pull it. It's a very nice and easy tool to use. I'll show it on a board here just a little bit.
통나무집을 짓는데 반드시 필요한 것은 이끼입니다. 숲에서 구할 수 있죠.
And why are you collecting them?
The moss is good to put between the logs. Moss has the ability to absorb the condensation. The other principles are it doesn't get fungus. it won't get wet and rot away in the wall. It'll be good for hundreds of years in there. And it is the material that has been used in Northern Europe for thousands of years now.
통나무가 뒤틀리고 변형되는 걸 효과적으로 막아주는데 이 역시 17세기 뉴 잉글랜드 선조들의 지혜입니다.
I suppose the interesting thing is that where you find this abundantly is in the spruce woods, and the spruce trees are what the log building's made out of. So they are together in nature and together in the building both.
숲속의 이끼는 집 한 채를 너끈히 지을 수 있을 만큼 많습니다. 언제나 풍요롭죠. 완벽한 집을 만들기에 완벽한 숲입니다. 통나무 하나하나 올릴 때마다 드는 이런 수고로움도 데니스에겐 기쁨이자 행복이겠죠.
I'd like to work on it again this winter. It takes about a day every log. And right now I'm about halfway up with 18 logs, so if I got 18 solid days of labor, the walls would be up, and then it would be time to make the roof. So it's a 2 or 3 month project right now, I'd say. Very long for a building this size.
데니스에게 집은 삶의 모든 것을 엮어내는 공간입니다. 일과 놀이, 사회생활, 그 모든 것인데요. 그래서 더 공부하고 경험하고 계속해서 확장해 나가는 겁니다. 이 숲에 들어온 지 17년. 앞으로 데니스의 삶은 어떻게 흘러갈까요?
I have to figure out who will take care of the place, how I'll take care of myself, who will take care of me, how will I work, how will I make the money. But I don't worry about that much. I picture myself being old and still doing this and enjoying the people. As an old man, I'm going to be on a bench by that door to the hostel. I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to have a long beard. I'm going to smile a lot. I'm going to have a good time. And I think I can do that until I'm ready to go, pretty much.
홀로 또 누군가와 그는 스스로 시간의 흐름을 만들어가는 사람답게 숲에서 살아가고 있을 겁니다.
언제